Good afternoon, and we welcome you to Action 2 News at 4:30. And we're going to begin today taking a closer look at stories being reported by Jeff Alexander and Emily Matesic. The Wisconsin State Patrol confirming that one person has died after a Fond du Lac ambulance carrying a patient was struck by a car very early this morning. The driver is dead. The passenger has severe injuries, and Emily joins us now live in Fond du Lac getting details of this case. And Emily also obtaining our very first look at the surveillance video, which makes it very obvious what happened.
Yeah, Chris, the video was just released less than an hour ago. I'd put in a request with the city attorney to have that surveillance video. Got a call at 3:40 this afternoon that it was ready for us to pick up. Viewers can see the impact of the crash. The ambulance is headed eastbound on Johnson Street when a northbound car on Main Street runs a red light. You can clearly see it runs the red light, striking the front passenger side of that ambulance. The ambulance is spun around, the car is spun around, and the passenger of that vehicle was killed. The driver was critically injured. Paramedics, obviously in that ambulance, transporting a patient. They were shaken. The patient in the back of that ambulance was okay as they were on a non-emergency trip to the hospital with that patient. After they had checked the patient in the back of the ambulance, those two paramedics then went to the aid of the two people that were in that car. And as again, you can see the video of exactly what happened.
Is how tragic it is, but how unusual is it that we go from one patient at the scene to all of a sudden 5, and 2 of those patients, the paramedics in this case, are treating 3 while being wounded themselves?
Exactly. I mean, the paramedics, they're there to help. They're the rescuers, right? And the rescuers needed rescued. As soon as the call came in, the paramedics made their own call, right, for help. The fire chief tells me that he was at home, happened to hear his radio going off, immediately sort of jumped out of bed because this was at 4:15 this morning and raced to the scene here. The fire truck that assisted the paramedics on that initial medical call, it happened to still be on the road, so they were very quickly on scene to help their fellow firefighter paramedics at the scene. Again, the patient that was in the back of the ambulance seemed to be okay. They transported that person to the hospital and then tended to, or continued to tend to, the other 2 people that were in the vehicle. The fire department, after the adrenaline wore off for those 2 firefighter paramedics in the ambulance, then they became the patients. They were also taken to the hospital. The chief tells me that they're doing okay. They're definitely going to debrief with these guys, get them any sort of help that they need, physical or mental, before they do come back on duty.
All right, Emily, we know that the driver of this crash is still very much in severe and critical condition. Thank you for that update. And again, that was very first time we have seen that video from the crash.